Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the special interview. Now, it's not every day. Well, actually, it is every day that I get to talk to this guy because we talk almost every single day. And I'm asking him questions about football. I'm asking him questions about CTS. I'm asking him questions about how to do this, that, and he's always there to help. Ladies and gentlemen, my first guest today is the legendary, the internet sensation, Stingray. Stingray, how you doing today?
Good, buddy. How about you?
I'm doing good. Same way I felt about a couple hours ago when we talked over the phone. But yeah,
Yeah,
I'm good.
man, I tell you what, we've got a great show for you guys today.
Whoa, 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 whoa. You're not the co-host today. You're the guest.
Okay.
No, you're not going to help. You're not going to help host the show. You're a guest. Today, you're the guest. I'm the host. What part did you not understand, Sting?
Oh,
You're
wow.
the entertainer. Are you okay now? Are you good?
If you're the host and you're the guest, who am I?
I was going to get to that before Sting was like, today we got a special show today. No, we don't. I got a special show today. As I was saying, my guest today is internet sensation Stingray. Stingray, once again, tell the people at home how you doing.
I'm doing fantastic, bud. How about you?
And like I said before, I'm feeling the same way I was 2-3 hours ago after we talked. But we also have I love you, Sting. We also got a special guest too. This guy right here, he worked for the CSS network. Now, for the people who don't know, before it was the SEC network, it was the CSS network, and this guy was a sports commentator for the CSS network. Ladies and gentlemen, the one and only Heath Hopkins. Heath, how you doing today?
Oh, man. Well, we're here, right? We're doing great. What about you, Joseph?
I'm doing good.
Steven, did you just come in from cutting the grass? I mean, you're sweating over there, buddy.
Man,
What
yeah,
about you?
I tell you
Take
what,
blood pressure medicine?
no, I'm fine, man. It's just hot where I am. We're good, though.
Now, a lot of people may wonder why these two gentlemen are on the show today. It's because people, if you may know Stingray from his legendary internet videos for Mississippi State. You may remember him for a couple of interviews he had on CTS, but more importantly, he has a very, very, very successful show here on the CTS called the Stingray Scoop. But a lot of people don't know. Actually, a lot of people do know because they get maybe about 50,000 views a week. He has a very successful show over on his social media called the Stingray Show. And Heath is not his sidekick. It's more like, it's not a Batman Robin type of deal. It's more like a Superman Batman type of deal. So let's start with you, Stingray.
Okay.
2015, you started doing videos. You became an internet sensation. I know for a fact I used to watch your videos at least once a week. You even got a big shout out by Dak Prescott one time on the Par 5 Burn show. How important was those videos to you?
They were really important, but honestly, just like with everything, I'm still surprised that the first year that I did it, it took off the way that it did. Now, I will also say that Mississippi State going all the way up to #1 in the country did help that. Because they were the talk of college football. And then, of course, my rants were the talk of college football, too. But, they were a lot of fun to do back then. But I never expected it to go as far as it did in year one.
Well, you hit a level of success that a lot of people who try to get on it and, try to be an internet sensation, you reached the pinnacle. I mean, people were in love with you. You have fans, and people always. You was kind of like that guy who everybody want to look out for, and everybody want to be around. Because I remember watching you with a bunch of groups, tailgating at Mississippi State games, and people will be trying to surround you.
Yes.
And Did you have any stalkers?
Yes, but it actually came a little bit later than that. Not necessarily in year one or year two, but it was after that that I did have a couple of stalkers.
Were
Yes.
they female stalkers?
No,
Yes, they were
unfortunately.
redheads, brunettes, and blondes.
Unfortunately, no. I wish they were, but no. As a matter of fact, they were crazed LSU fans.
Yeah.
And actually, I can tell you a little bit about this. I was actually down in Orange Beach one summer. I think that was in 2016. And they saw me pulling into my house down there. And they actually made a U-turn, came back, and believe it or not, crossed over the gate that I had locked, came on the property, and were videoing it the whole time, and actually put it out on social media and said, "Hey, we found Stingray's beach house." I was really pissed off about that too.
Yeah, but you know, I can understand that because privacy is
Yes.
very important. But you got to understand sometimes fans get, and I'm guilty of it too, because sometimes that's why when I see celebrities, I don't go up and meet them. I don't try to go shake their hand. I leave them alone because I get too excited. And so let's say I met Heath Hopkins in the airport, and I was like, "Oh my God, that's Heath Hopkins!" No, I'm gonna be cool, and just stay my distance before they call the police. But sometimes,
Ladies,
I
none
don't
of
think they
you could be
was
first, but all of you could be next.
Heath.
Yo,
But
what's up, Joseph?
let's talk a little broadcasting. What made you want to get into broadcasting?
Man, as a kid, I thought going to a game or talking about a game and getting paid for it was the greatest job in the world. And it was. It was until you get the paycheck and they don't pay you jack squat. And, and then you have to start thinking about some other things. A lot of people think that the folks on television, even at your local affiliates, your ABC, NBC, CBS, Fox, you think those guys make a lot of money. Those guys are paid less than school teachers. I'm from Mississippi. We don't pay school teachers anything. But, I did it. I loved it. I was broke all the time. I spend more money at the dry cleaner than, what I did in rent. I mean, it was just ridiculous. And so, I started looking for other avenues and went into business for myself. But I can tell you this, there's not a day that goes by that I don't miss it. I miss it every single day. I really do. And, I used to have to go into the station at 4 o'clock. And still to this day, at 4 o'clock every day, I kind of get a second wind. I think about it, and I haven't gone to a TV station in 17, 18 years now. I thoroughly miss it. But, I've done a lot of videos. I've done some things on the side, a little play-by-play, public address announcing, some reporting, some videos here and there. I used to do some recruiting videos for some Division III schools before YouTube put me out of business. But, I've kept my toe in the water. I started a little Facebook page strictly about SEC sports, Heath Hopkins Media Network. And, over the years, I've thought about a trillion different ways to go in different directions with it. And I still think about that every day. But, I miss doing the games. I miss going to the stadium. I miss getting the notes. I miss interviewing the coaches and the players. I miss being on the inside of things. I remember getting the word about Dennis Franchione leaving Alabama in October before he did it in December. I mean, I remember all that stuff. We had the scoop on that. I had a buddy of mine that was working in 1AA football, and there was a guy transferring out of Alabama, and he was talking to the coach. He goes, "Hey, you guys sticking around?" He goes, "Oh, no, man, we're out of here. We're going to A&M after this." They knew that in October. Just happened that guy was my roommate in college and was coaching 1AA football. And he immediately picked up the phone and called me. So, I miss getting the scoop on guys. I miss all that stuff. But I will also say that when you're in a small town, especially like Starkville, you get ahead reporting what you don't know than what you do know. There's some things you keep hush-hush about.
Now, a little Stingray in the ocean told me there was an interesting story how you got your job at CSS. Would you like to share with the millions and the millions?
Yeah, I was the only guy at Media Days that was from Starkville at the time. Oh, Mark Packer. He was out of Knoxville, still in Knoxville. Still does television up there. Wonderful man. Great father. He's a grandfather now, and he looks younger than all of us. But Mark's a good dude. He's a TCU grad, and came in. We started talking, and he said, "Hey, I want to put together the show on CSS." And I was like, "I'm in." And we traded information. And I was a very young guy on television at the time. And here's a little fun fact. The first interview I ever did as a student, I interviewed Kelly Anderson. She was an All-American softball player at Mississippi State. But the first time I got a paycheck to go interview was this guy named Eli Manning at SEC Media Days.
Never heard of him. Never heard of him.
I don't know if you ever heard of that guy or not.
No.
Artie's got a famous nephew that's up and coming right now. But,
Wait, hang on. Doesn't he have a sister?
No, there's no Manning girls to my knowledge.
You sure? You sure play for the Broncos?
Nope, not going for it. Sorry, Joseph. Nope, no sisters.
I love you, Peyton Manning. I'm a big Peyton Manning fan.
It was great to see all that. So, Jay Cutler was there. I remember interviewing Jay Cutler. I know he's kind of been in the news recently for his divorce and wanting 50% of his wife's jewelry company. But, Jay Cutler was there, and I thought this guy was just a major tool shed. I remember Nick Saban was there, and his Great Dane dog got out. That dog's bigger than Scooby-Doo, man. That dog was roaming all over the hotel there in Hoover. But, it was fun to see. And Nick Saban wore this god-awful purple pinstripe suit. It was like navy and purple. It was ugly.
Listen, whatever Nick Saban is wearing is beautiful. Okay? Nick Saban can wear whatever he wants. It's a beautiful
You know what? That's
thing.
a factual statement. That's a factual statement, Joseph. He can. He absolutely can. But you know what? I miss those days. But Mark Packer and I got together. He was putting together a staff, and he led us to believe that we're going to be making a little bit more. And we were busting our humps doing these stories that were in 9 states, 11 million homes all over the Southeast, and we were getting paid a whopping $100 per story. So, I was like, it's like, I put at least 10 hours into this. $100.
Well, I have to ask you. You was talking about all the famous people you met. Peyton Manning. Oh, I'm sorry, you never met Peyton. Eli Manning, Nick Saban. Who was your favorite interview to do while on the CSS?
I absolutely love interviewing Lou Holtz. Now, I read Lou Holtz's book, Winning Every Day. It's still by far the greatest book I've ever read.
He never won every day, though.
He won a whole lot. Hey, he won a Medal of Freedom, right? The Presidential Medal of Freedom.
Well, there you go. I guess he got me there.
But Lou had that was the first book I ever remember laughing out loud reading. And I'm a big reader. I like to read. But I remember reading Lou's book, and not only is it just motivational, but it's filled with so many great stories. But that book will make you laugh out loud. And so I went to Media Days every year, trying to get a question so I can get the soundbite for Lou to just rattle off, and it'd be played over and over and over on Sports Center and everywhere else in sports radio across our great land of ours. And I remember I asked Lou one time. I said, Coach, your first year at William and Mary, you did this. Your second year, this happened. Third year, this happened. Your first year at Arkansas, this happened. Second year, third year. And he was always having these successful seasons. His first 2 seasons at South Carolina were not good at all. He didn't even win a game his first year. Second year, his wife had cancer and didn't do much. That third year, he exploded on the scene. But I said, Coach Holtz, how far are you from a national title? And you could see the wheels turning. And Lou was sitting there, and he goes, in my terrible Lou Holtz impersonation, where's Tim Brendan when we need him, right? Tim's got a great, Lou Holtz impersonation. But, he sat there, and he goes, well, let me tell you. He goes, if Tennessee wins it, I'm about 4 hours away. And he goes, and if Alabama wins it, I'm about 6 hours away. If Florida wins it, that's in my own division. You know, we're about 8 hours away. If South Carolina, that's my own home state. He goes, if Clemson wins it, we're just about 45 minutes away from a national title. So that's how far we are from right now. And, of course, the room erupted in laughter. And, of course, it got played on SportsCenter and everything else. So I was tickled to death that my question went viral. That's what I was hoping for. That's what I shot for. But, you know, there was a lot of times I went in there and I was trying to get the same reaction on other coaches, and I mean, just bankrupt. I remember Sylvester Croom, stole Media Days his first year. Every media outlet was there, and the big boys were there, the CNNs and the Foxes and, you know, ABC World News, and all these guys were coming because of the historical moment of what it was. And so, you know, being on the Mississippi State beat, I was like, hey, I'm going to ask Coach Croom a question because, you know, we were hearing that he was tired of answering questions about race. So I thought, well, hey, I'm going to help Coach Croom out here. You know, he's tired of answering these questions. So I sit there and I said, Coach, what question are you tired of? And Coach Croom stared me down and got a scowl on his face. And he looked at me and goes, that one. I'm tired of that one. And would not answer another question from me, not only at Media Days, but for the rest of the season. It'd be after a game or the Monday press conference. And I'd go to raise my hand. He would look, oh, no. And he'd go over here and ask. He would not answer a question from me for the rest of the season. I was in timeout. I was in Croom jail.
Hey, you know, I've never been in the press, but I've seen that happen many times in press conferences. And, you know, when do you – I know you have to be professional. I'm going to just answer yes or no. Would you get fired if you just told the mother – would you get fired if you told that person to just kiss you? Yes or no?
My boss would have probably laughed and told me not to do it again. But for the most part – yes, you would probably get fired for something like that.
I mean, well, if the person's being disrespectful to you and you're there to do a job and he's keeping you from doing a job, then come on. I mean, something has to give.
You know, some industries they teach you, coach you, and reiterate to you: do not retaliate. No matter what is said or done, you do not retaliate.
Even if they put your hands on you.
I think we live in a world of common sense, and I think a lot of people common sense is a flower that doesn't grow in a lot of people's garden, and those people get upset over stupid stuff.
The thing with Deion Sanders back in the 90s, throwing the coat, you know, even though that guy deserved it because he was talking trash, you know, disrespecting.
I kind of sided with Tim McCarver on that. I'm okay with Deion doing something.
No.
I didn't think Deion took it too far.
You can't sound. No, he did not. First off, you disrespect the man. The man was doing something. The man was doing something that no athlete ever done. He wasn't showing off. He was playing two sports because he could.
I agree with that statement. But what if his coach Bobby Cox told Deion, if you play in this game, no matter what happens, you will not play at all?
Bobby Cox. First off, Deion Sanders. Coach. Deion Sanders is a professional. Dennis Rodman is known for going to professional wrestling matches during the finals. I mean, these guys are professionals. These guys are. I mean, you get paid to do this. You're not in high school. You know, when my high school coach told me to do something, I did it. When my college coach told me to do something, I did. Now I'm getting paid. This is a career. This is a job now. You know.
Let me ask you this, Joseph. If you're being a professional, shouldn't you put your profession first?
He did. He put his football professional first.
Yeah, and his team was playing in the World Series.
And he made it there.
Yeah, he did make it there. But his coach told him, if you dare play in that football game, you're never stepping on the field.
But he got back on the field.
Not during that game.
But he got back on the field later on.
He did get back on the field later on. And I think Bobby
and they won the division. I think they won. It wasn't in the World Series. They actually.
Yeah, it was the NL.
Playoffs.
It was
and they went to the World Series.
Yeah. So it was the NL.
Well, we'll agree to disagree because I think Deion Sanders, you know, did something that Bo Jackson did, and nobody was complaining about Bo Jackson.
Yeah, no one tried to do it in the same day. I think that was the only beef with it. I think if
he made the game. It's not like it's not like he was like, well, screw this. He made the game. He showed up. He was there, and he was ready to go. But no, that guy had no right to disrespect Deion Sanders. And but I will say this: if the guy would have come over there and Deion Sanders would have put a drink on me, it's going to be a problem. That's all I'm saying. Now, look, I disrespected you. I understand, but I disrespect you with my words. Right. I didn't come over there and insult you. That's what I'm getting at. It's like at a certain point, you said at one point in time, they teach you not to interact with each other, do not retaliate. But right. At a certain point, as a man, you can't put your hands on me. That's not how it works. That's just my opinion.
Let's go down this rabbit hole real quick. Jim Rome had Jim Everett on.
Jim Rome should have got his whooped.
And I remember sitting there, and Jim Rome is always known to push the envelope. As a matter of fact, I would argue that moment made Jim Rome. Like, no one knew who Jim Rome was.
No, that made Jim Rome. That moment, that made Jim Rome.
Yeah.
That's what Jim Rome became that day. I never liked Jim Rome. He's a disrespecting little fart. Nobody likes him. And quite frankly, I wish I could have him on a show so I could tell him that nobody likes him. But that's just me. Go ahead. I didn't mean to interrupt. Go ahead.
Call Jim's people and let them know.
Call his at him and Vince Russo need to come on my show, and I'll tell you how I feel.
Well, what's your thoughts on Russo?
We'll get to that later. But go ahead. I got to move on to Stingray real fast. Sting. Sting. So, what was your best time as Stingray? What was the time where you was like, oh my God, this is the greatest moment of my life?
No doubt. It had to be the part there where I went and saw Tosh .0 and got to hang out with Daniel Tosh. That was by far one of the coolest moments of my life. That was September the 11th of 2017. I got to spend 4.5 hours on set with Daniel Tosh. That was pretty cool. But I will tell you this too. I haven't really told this to anybody, so you're going to get an exclusive here. Okay, so in 2000, because I started the rants in 2014, so in 2015 in the summer, I went to see Garth Brooks at the BJCC in Birmingham. And I had the first class tickets up front. And so I was walking to my seat there at the Garth Brooks concert, and 2 Mississippi State fans walked up to me and said, "Oh my God, you're that Mississippi State rant guy, Stingray. Let me get a picture with you." And I was like, holy crap, here I am at the Garth Brooks concert and somebody wants a picture with me. That's when I knew. I was like, holy crap, this is awesome. Of course, we're going to tell Heath something here, but your favorite wrestler of all time is Hulk Hogan. And one of my slogans at the end of my videos was always "From the Hulkamania." So,
you know what I just noticed? My wife's been on Zoom meetings, and I got my wife's name in the bottom corner.
Yeah, I know.
I just noticed that.
Nobody's gonna see it.
Shout out to the love of my life, Julie.
Yeah, it's the other way.
See, you know what? If I knew you, like if we were friends. But we don't know each other that way. I can't do it. Well, but hypothetically speaking, let's say that we knew each other and we were friends and we were tight, 20 years friends or something, and we're like, shout out to my wife, shout out to the love of my life. And I'll be like, yeah, shout out to Julie. But we're not that close. So anyway. Hey, I try to be funny.
Sad trombone, brother.
So Sting.
Yes.
Okay, so I gotta ask you this. You stopped doing the videos. I know why. And we did an interview probably back when I had 6 subscribers on the CTS. And every day I tell you all the time, I was like, Sting, you can't let people dictate your happiness. You got to do what makes you happy, because if you dictate what people do, if you let people dictate what makes you happy, then you're never going to be happy.
Oh yeah.
So I'm gonna hit you where it hurts right now. Maybe in the future, one day, are we gonna see a rant?
Yeah, I think so.
There we go. That's what I'm talking about, Heath.
So yes, but now here's the deal, though. I don't think it's necessarily going to be for a specific team. It may be, but I think it's going to be more towards the SEC as a whole because of how dominant they are versus other conferences.
But see, but here's the thing. You know, you love Mississippi State. Now, either you need to come on back home to Alabama, or go back to Mississippi State. One of the two. You can't look. I'm not one of those fans that do the SEC. I don't want Auburn to win ever. Auburn. I don't even want there's 2 things I hate in this world: the city of Auburn for other reasons, and the football team that is Auburn. Okay. People say, well, you only hate Auburn because of the football team. No, I hate the city because they're a bunch of snobs. With that said,
all right,
I
Joseph,
don't like.
I got to ask you a question, Joseph.
Sure.
Me and Steven talked about this in pre-production. I know I'm taking over your show. I'm like NWO. I know I'm taking over. But, you know, me and Steven were having a pre-production meeting, and this is when we first started our show. But, you know, I came up with the idea. I was like, Steven, why don't you just pick something that's like making you mad or something you're passionate about and go off and rant on that? Like the customer service at Best Buy or something. If they made you mad, do a rant. You know,
yeah. If
you get good service at Zaxby's or something, you know, do a rant.
Do a rant.
They were.
Do a rant on the city of Auburn.
See, I've been telling them to do rants on, you know, anything and everything. You know, I'm like, hey, do a rant about whatever you want. Whatever's making you happy or mad that day, do a rant about it.
Yes.
Stingray, yes. So yes, we got a yes. We're gonna see rants in the future, right?
Yes. There
you go. So back to you, Heath. I heard through a little stingray in the ocean again. Same stingray. He swims around my bathtub somewhere and he just pops up. And he said that you actually got to meet Kenny Chesney. Can you please tell us that story?
Yeah, I could mention that story a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah. Let's talk about it.
There was a great friend of mine from my days in Starkville. They had moved to Nashville, and we were getting ready, and it was dinner time. I was coming through business. I was a small business owner at the time, and there was a guy over in Mount Juliet, Tennessee, which is on the other side of Nashville, and I came up there to meet him, talk with him, and so said, hey, I got to meet with this guy tomorrow morning, and I'm going to be in town the night before. You want to catch up? And they're like, yeah. And so go to their apartment, and anyway, our roommate was this very attractive, extremely attractive lady, and I was like, wow, she's hot, you know. And so we just kind of sat there about it. She goes, yeah, that's my roommate. I'm like, oh, okay. And so you know, she was getting ready, and roommate was getting ready. So this guy walks in. He's got these little shorty shorts on, you know, like these Umbro shorts, and they're like super short. And they were some weird color, like this fuchsia red looking, you know, he got this little tank top on, you know. And I was like, dude, you're like 4'10" and weigh 104 pounds. You know, like why's this guy wearing a muscle shirt? He got his little bald head, his little, you know, glasses on and everything. And I was like, who is this small fry over here, you know? And so I'm just sitting there watching SportsCenter, hanging out. I'm starving. I'm ready to go eat. And so anyway, you know, I'm being polite. And so I was like, hey, man, what's up? Hey, you know, you have a good day? Like, yeah. And I was like, he's giving me all these one-word answers, you know? And I was like, so what do you do? And he's like, I'm in the biz. I was like, who does this guy think I'm in the biz? You know, now remind you, I have just left CSS. Talking about SEC basketball, talking about SEC football. You know, I've already mentioned it. 9 states, 11 million homes. Every Thursday night, I'm hosting these people in their own living rooms. So I was like, you know, who's this small time? You know, what is he like? Some random backup guitarist for the studio album for some bluegrass band no one's ever heard of. You know, I'm like, and so I'm like, I'm not going to get, you know, he's not going to small time me. I'm going to small time small fry over here on the couch. So we're sitting there and we're talking about everything. And I was like, oh, the biz, huh? Like, so what do you do? And he looked at me and goes, you really don't know who I am. I was like, you really don't know who I am. He said, who are you? And I said, I'm in 9 states, 11 million homes every Thursday night. Who are you? And I can't remember the number, but he's like, I sold 68 million records last year or whatever it was. I can't remember. And so I kind of looked at him and I was like, I'm Heath Hopkins. And he's like, I'm Ken Chesney. Well, my sister's like a huge fan. My sister and brother-in-law were like huge fans of Kenny Chesney. And remind you, this is like 2004, 2005, somewhere around that area. And so, but I didn't listen to country. I still don't listen to country music. I don't, you know, if it's country music from 1992 on, I haven't listened to it. Love Garth, but Garth ruined country music because everyone tried to be Garth after Garth. And so, you know, so I was like, oh, wow. Well, I had just read an article. I'm a huge Van Halen fan, love Van Halen. And I just read an article that Kenny Chesney did a show out in California, and he brought Sammy Hagar on, the lead singer of Van Halen. And so I'm like a huge Sammy Hagar fan. And I was like, hey, you know Sammy Hagar? He's like, yeah, you know Sam? I'm like, no. So, and I was like, you did a concert and you brought him up on stage. And he's like, yeah, how'd you know about that? I was like, I read the article wherever I read it. And so we were talking about that. So I started asking him Sammy Hagar questions. Hey, tell me what Sam's like, you know? Yeah, he seems like a really good dude, you know? And so anyway, a few minutes into the conversation, he's like, wait. You have any other questions other than Sammy Hagar, Van Halen questions? I'm like, no. It's like, I don't care about you, man. It's so wow. He just kind of laughed. But it was kind of funny because he kind of smiled. He goes, this has never happened to me before. And he's like,
do you see what just happened? You see what just happened here? You met Kenny Chesney. You got to talk to Eli Manning, the brother of Peyton Manning, who happens to be friends with Kenny Chesney. It's like the circle of life here, man.
You did it
all because of the CSS.
That CSS lifestyle, right? That whopping $100 per story lifestyle I was living.
So I got to ask you this: when did you first meet Stingray?
Steven and I were, if I'm not mistaken, we got put into a fantasy football, an SEC fantasy football league together.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, and so
never seen that done.
We kind of crossed paths, but I remember this is funny that you bring that up. You know, I thought the rants were great, and I saw some of the negativity. Most of it was, you know, 85% or more was positive on the rants, and then there was like, you know, those few poo-poo people who just want to hate
Auburn fans. Yes, we understand.
They hate having turkey on Thanksgiving. They hate ice cream.
Auburn fans. We got you. Go ahead.
Yeah, they hate opening Christmas presents on Christmas Day.
Yeah, Auburn fans once again.
Yeah,
Auburn fans.
So,
got you.
So, you know, they were kind of hating, and so I sent him some words of encouragement, and you know, I was like, this guy's onto something. I actually called you a kid. So this kid's onto something, and I was like, I hope this kid figures this out. And so, you know, I remember sending a couple of messages, hoping, never heard back. You know, and
he big time you.
Yeah, he big time me, man. He did big time me. And then we got into an SEC fantasy football league, and he was like, wanting to be everyone's best friend. Like, hey, I'm Steven, everybody. And I was like, wow, this guy's a fun guy.
What was your favorite rant?
I've told Steven this. This is back when Steven was a big boy. He's not a big boy anymore. He's lost all that weight. He's done phenomenal. But, I made the joke. I want to paint it to a nicer word. I'm not. I'm going to call it what it was. It was a joke that I made before I ever met Steven. And I was like, this guy's the love child of the Shawnee Big Boy and Hulk Hogan. I was like, if they got together and had a love child, this is who this guy is. And then Steven had the last laugh on everybody because he lost all the weight, and he can still do rants anytime he wants to, any day of the week, anytime. So, which makes me proud of Steven, because Steven's going to give everyone a lot of crow to eat, and it's going to be served cold, and it's going to be served with a big smile on his face. And I can't wait for that day to come. But when I started seeing those rants, I remember there was a guy from Texas A&M that kind of did a rant, which I thought he did a good impersonation of Steven. But I remember the Texas A&M rant. I thought that was a good one. You're gonna like this, Joseph. When he's talking about when he's talking to Feinbaum, and he's like, "I'm not going to shoot the bull with you like those Auburn fans do." That just tickled me to death. I thought that was the funniest thing. But having your favorite Stingray rant is like choosing your favorite child. You can't really choose one. You like them all. They all have their moments where one makes you smile a little bit more, but you can't choose one. That's like choosing one of your children over another. You can't do that, man.
I don't know if I need to get mad. I don't know if we need to get angry. That was actually my favorite one. So real fast, let's talk CTS for a little bit, Sting. What made you come up with the Stingray scoop?
Well, actually, we had talked about, all last fall, anytime that there was a breaking news story, I would get my cell phone and pop up and be like, hey, breaking news. And so towards the start of the year, there wasn't really that much breaking news. So I took a little bit of a lull there. And then I decided, with your help, obviously, that, hey, let's just do a short little, 2 to 5 minute segment every single Friday, recapping everybody on what's happened in news regarding any kind of sports from Monday through Friday. And so that's the reason that we did it. It's just basically a recap of the news that has happened this past week. And so that's what I talk about on the Stingray Scoop.
Now, I'm going to tell you a little story. First, I'm going to say this. When Stingray came on in November or December, I mean, it was kind of like, Sting, why don't you come on? Sting was like, yeah, let's come on. And then the next thing, he's like, man, I don't know. I got issues with family. I got this, that. I don't have time. I said, Sting, listen. Don't quit. Just take your time. Don't have to do anything. We want you because you're Stingray. But, just chill out and come on when you want to do something. And that's what Stingray did. He didn't do anything for like the first 2 months and just chilled out. Didn't bother. I was just check in on him. But man, when he got committed, Stingray literally changed CTS around. People like Justin Riley and Stingray, before they came along, I was pretty much doing this by myself. So I'm going to say this right here on the interview. Stingray, if it wasn't for you, CTS wouldn't be surviving right now because you do so much for us. And when I told you this is your channel, you took it and you ran with it. You were like, yep, this is my channel. And man, Stingray goes above and beyond what I ever expected him to do. So with that, it's a special thank you for being part of our team, and thank you for being a friend of mine. But with that said, we got to talk about the bread and butter. Ladies and gentlemen, y'all want to talk about the greatest sports show on social media, it has to be the Stingray Show. Now, I'm not saying that because I'm friends with Stingray. I was watching the Stingray Show before Stingray even came on to the CTS. How did that come about with you two guys?
Well, I really wanted...
We might have two different stories. I want to hear Steven's first, though.
Okay. I actually, with the weight loss and everything, everybody started saying that I needed to bring a podcast back because I had had two or three in the past, but I really didn't take them anywhere. So my confidence level went through the roof with the weight loss, and so I was like, okay, I'll think about it. And so then I started narrowing down who I wanted my co-host to be. And in order for it to be a great mesh, you've got to find someone with a similar background of yours. And so I said, Heath, because he's been on CSS, he has a broadcasting degree, he loves sports, and so I'm like, I'm going to call Heath and give him a call and run and, just bounce some ideas off of him. And then he and I got together and we just started doing the show. And it just, it like you said, Heath, for a long time there, it was a work in progress because,
Still is.
Yeah.
Well, work in progress.
I mean, because we had internet issues, we had video issues, audio issues, but through it all, Heath stood by me, and there was a lot of times there where he could have gotten frustrated and said, "No, man,
frustrated."
So I was like, I'm really glad that he stuck by me, but really, it's been a great pleasure to do the Stingray show this past year or so.
I was listening to a podcast today. It was a podcast called Art of Charm. It's a very popular podcast. And the reason I was listening to it is there was a guy on there. He was kind of the mental coach and also the physical coach for Michael Jordan. And he got on with Dwayne Wade, and he did it with the Black Mamba himself, Kobe Bryant, and he's had a ton of entertainers and athletes, and this guy's a down-home kind of guy, but he said something that made me laugh. He was talking about how he studies the very minor things that everyone does, how they shake hands, how they walk into a room, how they exercise, how they tie their shoes, which I thought was hilarious, how they interact with you, how they relax, how they treat their bodies, what do they eat, and so he's watching all this stuff when he first starts working with clients. And he said, just like with you guys with the podcast, he goes, people probably tell you that you had a great podcast because y'all have, so many listeners. And he goes, but you guys probably get done with the podcast and like, I forgot to ask him this question. This show sucked. We didn't do this. I didn't like that intro. I didn't like how we transitioned there. And so it's so funny because I immediately started laughing. I'm listening to this at work today at lunch. And I immediately started laughing. I was like, that's exactly what Steven and I do. We'll wrap up a show, and afterwards, like, how did it go, and we'll talk about the things that we did good, but usually we talk about all the things that we messed up. And so, like, I wish I had asked him that. I let him off the hook. I should have pushed that issue right there. And so we laugh about it, and then, I'll go out to the ball field where my kids play, and I'll have all these people run up to me. Hey, I saw that interview with so-and-so. I love this question. I love that question. And it makes me laugh because I was just like, I'm still beating myself up for the one question I didn't ask him. I thought I ruined the whole interview because when's he going to come back on? And I may not get the chance to ask. So it's absolutely hilarious of what people see and talk about our success. And I appreciate what you said earlier, Joseph. I really do. And then me and Steven are beating ourselves up over little things or hey, why are our numbers down on this interview? And so it's just kind of funny to see how it comes about. But Steven and I tell each other this all the time, and we're telling it less and less, but WIP, W-I-P, WIP, work in progress. That's what we are. That's what we need to remember. And when we screw up royally or things that we think are terrible, we just got to remember we've got to keep moving forward and we got to make it better. And instead of beating ourselves up and we should just cancel the show or we should just start over or we just try to work through it and we try to stand on our mistakes instead of being buried by them here at the end.
Two last questions. One, what was the best guest you ever had on the Stingray show?
Oh wow. Steven is probably going to say Hugh Freeze. He loves
Sting,
Hugh
Sting,
Freeze.
Sting, who was it?
I honestly like Tom Luganville.
Tom Loganville.
Tom Luganville.
Heath, who's yours?
I'm a baseball guy, as you can tell by my shirt. I've loved baseball. I thoroughly enjoy talking to Ben McDonald. He is as down home and as straightforward and as honest as they come. And he will spend time with us. He'll take time with us. So, but Ben McDonald's been fun. And you got to say Tim Brando has been a great friend of the show. Mark Schlabach has been excellent. You know what? I'm going to give props to Mark Schlabach. Let me tell you what a great person Mark Schlabach is one time we had him lined up for a show, and he couldn't make it. Something came up. And so he called. Matter of fact, it was the first time we had Brando on. And we were excited to have Brando on. And we didn't know how long Tim Brando would talk. I had 12 questions. I think I asked him 3 all episode. Tim Brando will talk all day, which we absolutely love, and we'll let him talk all day. But Schlabach called us before we even got going, and he said, hey, something came up. I can't come on, but I got somebody else for you. So instead of stiffing us or just sending a cold email or text, not only did he go out of his way to tell us, but he went out of his way to line somebody else up from ESPN to come on our show to fill his spot. Like, he went up, over, and beyond. Mark Schlabach cares about people. He cares about people's time, and he respects it. And I cannot say enough nice things about Mark Schlabach.
Well, I'm gonna tell you this: if you're not watching the Stingray show, and you like sports, I don't know what you're doing. You're probably watching some other stupid crap on Facebook, and you shouldn't be watching. The Stingray show is where it's at.
You're listening to Jim Rome, living in Auburn, Alabama. That's what you're doing.
And Jim Rome can kiss my ass. With that said, ladies and gentlemen, Sting, Heath, tell us what's coming up next for the Stingray show.
I hope a whole bunch of sponsors, and me and Steven are retiring beachside somewhere earlier than later. We got some ideas with the show. We won't tell them all, but we're getting ready to make this more of a business, and we're going to go down that avenue, and we're looking forward and exploring those opportunities. And I can openly admit that I've held this back a little bit because I've got 1,000 kids, or just 4. I get them confused all the time. I got so many I lose count. But ball season's over, so we got some free time. But we're looking to take the show to the next level. I won't go into detail on this. We've been in talks with a radio station, multiple radio stations, but one seems very interested in us, and we like what they said. We don't know if we're going to jump or not, but we're going to explore some opportunities. So we're looking forward to moving it. I'd love to go to radio, but I want to keep it toward television as well. There will always be a video cast of the Stingray show. I don't think that'll be anything, but I think you'll see it more friendly in podcast form very shortly, and all the old interviews will be popping up, and hopefully that'll be sooner than later.
Well, I'm going to tell you this. Go ahead, Sting.
Okay. All right. I actually have a little bit of news. Heath did what we're going to do. I'm going to tell you some of the guests that I have lined up. Okay. So, what now?
It's some big guests.
This week on the Stingray show, we are going to have Tom Luganville on the show. We've also got Jackie Sherrill, the former Mississippi State and Texas A&M coach, coming up on the show. We are also trying to schedule Eric Bischoff for the show, but now Heath here, and Joey, I did not tell you this because I was saving it for right now. Guess who I am in talks with right now for possibly coming on the Stingray show?
Jennifer Aniston.
Jennifer.
Kelly Kapowski.
Glenn Jacobs.
All right.
AKA the Big Red Monster Kane. I actually emailed his secretary today, and if we are trying to work out the negotiations right now, that Kane could potentially be on the Stingray show. Also, one last big guest. We are working out the schedule to get the athletic director from Alabama, Greg Byrne, on the Stingray show.
There you got it, ladies and gentlemen. What are you doing right now? You need to be catching up on old episodes of the Stingray show. And if you not only that, catch Stingray for 5-10 minutes on the CTS interview room. Stingray, you're part of the team. You know I got nothing but love for you. I appreciate everything you've done for the CTS. I love the Stingray show. I'm always going to be a fan, not only of yours, but of the Stingray show. Heath, man, it's a pleasure, honor to meet you. I remember watching you on CSS, watching you on the Stingray show. I always told Stingray that I always wanted to meet you, at least shake your hand one time, but Zoom doesn't allow that.
Kiss the ring, brother. Kiss the ring.
With that said, ladies and gentlemen, catch these guys on the Stingray show. Airs every Tuesday, right?
Yes, Tuesday and Friday.
I ain't gonna lie to you. I usually watch it on a Thursday or a Friday. You know, after
all our numbers go way up after the show comes out. Yeah, a lot of people will watch, and then it starts spreading. It goes viral. Every show goes viral.
Yes, yeah. I'm sorry. So I got things to do, so I watch it later. But
it's live every Tuesday and Friday afternoons. Some days we we shift the times due to our guests, but once again, you can find us on Tuesday or Friday afternoons. And like Joey said, they are there for you to view after, if you can't watch them live, on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube.
What are you doing right now? You need to get off this video and go watch it, because I'm telling you, it's the best show on Facebook right now. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Stingray. This is Heath Hopkins. This has been an edition of the special interview. Once again, Stingray, thank you for all you do for the CTS. Heath, you're part of the CTS family. You're always welcome back. That's it, y'all. This is the special interview. Next week will be Jim Rome and Vince Russo. Catch you later.
Live from Amsterdam Cafe in Auburn, Alabama.